Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast presented by Playbook Sports. Here with me in the same clothes as the last pod because neither of us have washing machines, like I said last time, is Zak Sadik and David Ferrel.
What's up?
How you doing?
All right, so I guess I don't pay you guys enough to buy new clothes. That's fucking crazy.
It's all right. We're here.
Today, we will be getting into the top 10 tight ends in the NFL. This list is going to drive one of the three of us mad because we discussed it a little bit and it's a little crazy. But I think number one should be fairly easy, as the other list should have been, except for David. It's Travis Kelce, right, guys?
Tate Otten. Oh. Yes, Travis Kelce.
David,
We'll give the nod to
please,
Travis Kelce. We'll give the nod to Travis Kelce.
Okay,
Even
we're
though
not gonna discuss it. Don't want to get into it because if you discuss it,
Well, hold on. Does David agree? Does David agree, or is he just letting us have it?
no, absolutely not. I put Travis Kelce at number one, but I feel that George Kittle is just a better blocker than Travis Kelce. So that has a lot to do with the tight end position. But Travis Kelce is my number one.
Okay. Now for the fun, because I think from here on, none of us are going to have the same player there.
Two?
And we'll start with David. David, who do you have at number two?
Just
let me guess.
George Kittle.
Okay. See, we don't have the same.
Wow. Go ahead. Go right on ahead.
Nope. Why do you have George Kittle?
Why do I have George Kittle at number two? Because he's been reliable for the San Francisco 49ers, and then on top of it, like I said earlier about the blocking and everything, he's literally the highest graded blocker as a tight end. So I think overall, that aspect definitely bumps him up a lot, and not only him being reliable for his team, but also, that yak is definitely impressive once he gets the ball in the open field. And on top of it, he's not scared to hit or run over anybody. So definitely like that.
I love when I hear you guys say yak. I just feel like we're about to throw up. Zach, we have to have the same, right?
I honestly don't know. I have a young dog, Sam Laporta.
Yeah, okay. See, I told you we were getting fucking juicy. Let's fucking roll, boys.
Okay,
Let's get fucking weird.
So Laporta is obviously a great receiving option. He's a receiving threat. Same college as George Kittle, TEU. And so, I mean, he's just what can you say about him? He's a decent blocker. He's not the best blocker, but when he has the ball in his hands, he is solid. He's a good receiver. Goes up and gets it. Big body. The production from last year just kind of puts him over the edge for me. Full disclosure, I do have Kittle at 3, but it's just the receiving potential that has me have Laporta at 2.
Okay, so I have Mark Andrews here. Wake up, the two of you. Hey. It's a top 5 quarterback's favorite option. What other quarterback only looks at their tight end in the red zone? He only looks at Mark Andrews, or he's running it in himself.
I have Mark Andrews has the injury history and also the age tax. So those are two things pulling him down in my rankings, but I can't blame you.
Isn't Travis Kelce older than him?
But is he producing? Is he injured?
I don't like your tone.
So that's your number 2?
That's my number 2, and my number 3 is George Kittle.
Oh, wow. Okay. So same Z's on George Kittle. He is a monster. He is the best blocking tight end in the league, and he is a bowling ball with the ball in his hand.
He had a down year last year, but I think that's going to change big time, especially if Ayuk leaves. If Ayuk leaves, I think George Kittle may get to the number 1 tight end this year. He might finally kick Travis Kelce down because, like you said, the blocking, the receiving, he is – I want to say this without trying to be funny, even though I'm just absolutely fucking hilarious. George Kittle is literally mentally insane. There's something not right in his head. I've seen videos of him get hit and drop to the floor, and he's just like this. He's like,
he loves it.
Joker.
He's a maniac.
He is insane.
Oh yeah, gotta love that with the player.
For sure, tight end is the best position.
Tight end, yeah, they're all crazy.
Yeah, number 3, I got Mark Andrews here.
Okay.
Mark Andrews, for all the reasons. I mean, I get the injury history, age tax. I mean, like, I'm not going to go there as much just because we got Travis Kelce sitting at number 1. But at the same time, Mr. Reliable, in the red zone for Lamar Jackson. And I don't think that that's going to change at all going forward. I see, possible big year coming in for Mark Andrews.
When your best other option is Rashad Bateman, like, you can't have Mark Andrews that low.
They have Zay Flowers.
Well,
they got
similar
some
players.
They're getting some pieces out there.
But Mark Andrews is still target number 1.
So we'll go Zach. Zach, who do you have it for? You have Mark Andrews?
I do have Andrews, yeah.
Okay. Same reasons?
Same reasons. He's a big red zone target. He's super consistent when he's healthy, and he has a good quarterback throwing the ball.
I'll take this one here. I have Sam Laporta at 4. Tight end you. Like we just said, I'm in on all Detroit Lions. Zach talked me into it. Jared Goff's a top 3 quarterback. He did all that as a rookie, and it gets better and better and better, especially when you're in a high power offense like Detroit. I think until they have to pivot to another quarterback, maybe Hendon Hooker, Sam Laporta is going to keep going up. And I'm pretty sure he was very close to being the number 1 overall tight end last year. So who knows? Maybe this year. Still think it might be Kittle, though. David, who do you have at 4?
Let's start it. I'm going to go with Mr. TJ Hawkinson, the Minnesota
Vikings. I forgot about him.
And I totally went with him just off of not only he went from one organization to another, and don't get me wrong, everyone thought once he got traded over to Minnesota, with Kirk Cousins and everything, things were possibly going to look good. Kirk Cousins ends up getting injured and stuff, but overall I still think that TJ Hawkinson is still a very good safety blanket for that Minnesota team, especially, not only he has Justin Jefferson and, them, but I feel like just TJ Hawkinson definitely adds a good dynamic. And like I said earlier, he's just a good safety blanket for, whoever's going to start out there, whether it's Darnold or McCarthy. I still think that he's going to provide them a lot of good production.
Now, let me ask a question. He tore his ACL, right? Or was it an Achilles?
I think it was ACL.
So is he going to start the season? Because if he's not, then I'm not changing my list.
No, probably not.
Okay,
so
yeah, he's off.
From what I've heard, he's going to probably miss close to the first half of the year.
Right.
Which is the only reason why he's in my honorable mentions and I didn't put him on the list, because you got to play,
Right.
But for all the points that you mentioned, David, all right, like he is super solid. He is deserving of being on the list talent wise. It just sucks that he's not going to be able to play the full season.
Yeah.
It was always weird to me. Well, at least it didn't turn weird until this offseason, but it felt like when they traded for Hawkinson that they were really going for it. Like they were making a run for the Super Bowl, and then they just kind of let Kirk walk, knowing that they were going to have to pay Justin Jefferson, in the next year anyway. So I always thought it was a weird fit that they made the move for Hawkinson to pay him as much as they are, to then, have first round pick Jordan Addison, super expensive Justin Jefferson, and then just let the quarterback walk. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays once he's back with the new quarterbacks. But yeah, no, honorable mention for me, but he is super talented.
So we're at 5 now, correct?
Yes. Did you already say your number 5?
No, I'm going to let David start this one.
Yeah, so number 5 here, I definitely got Sam Laporta, a young rookie phenom coming out of, Detroit and everything. I just feel like the way, he produced last year definitely put the league on notice for sure. And what a great thing for Jared Goff, another good target to have, another reliable target, whether it's the red zone, whether it's a third down situation. He's come up clutch. He came up clutch all year last year for the Detroit Lions. So I feel like he definitely earned a nod for a top 5 tight end this year.
You don't know how hard I was banging the table for Sam Laporta to be drafted by the Dolphins. Like, there was a couple of good tight ends that year. Laporta, I thought was going to be there in round 2 for the Dolphins. I did so much like pre-draft research on Laporta. I would have been so happy if he came to Miami. So I had a, that might be why I have him at number 2. Just that the one that got away thinking that he could have been a Dolphin with how good he played last year. But yeah, no, definitely top 5.
Who's your number 5,
100%.
Zach?
So from here it gets difficult.
Yeah, mine was so hard.
Because you're weighing kind of the potential versus the older, more athletic tight ends. So right here, I'm going Evan Ingram, and he's an athletic freak. He's been super athletic since he was drafted, and he has the tools. He just never really put it together. And then the last 2 seasons, he's actually done really well in Jacksonville. So it's kind of felt like he's been Trevor Lawrence's number 1 target. He gets a ton of targets, ton of yards over there. So I just think the athleticism, paired with the potential in that offense without Calvin Ridley, I think he's in store for a really big season.
So we all have different number 5s. Mine's another young boy, and I'm going this based off of his season last year and based off of his quarterback, who I think a lot of people are downplaying. And I'll give you a hint. That was a short joke. I got Trey McBride at number 5.
Ooh.
I think we're downplaying Kyler Murray. He had DeAndre Hopkins and Marquise Brown, and they were both pretty good receivers. Now you have Trey McBride, who did very good last year with the bald guy. Josh Downs or
Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs.
Whoops.
All good.
And then he continued to get better as the season went on once Kyler came back. So now he got a full offseason with Kyler, full offseason as the starting tight end. I think we see a big jump from Trey McBride this year. And I'll just start with number 6 because I have Evan Ingram there for the exact same reasons as Zach said. Calvin Ridley leaving, Evan Ingram all the way up.
And just piggybacking off of yours with Trey McBride, that's who I have at number 6. He does have a ton of potential. He is really talented, and it's a pretty decent situation for him to be in. He's going to be, target 1B to Marvin Harrison's 1A. And as long as Kyler can, stay healthy, he can support a couple fantasy viable. Well, I'm already in fantasy mode, but like a couple like big target guys on his offense.
I mean, fantasy plays hand in hand with this stuff because if you're producing in fantasy, it means you're producing in real life.
Right.
Can you
100%.
Hold on. Cat, go away, please. Dad's
Who you got, David? Number 6.
Yeah, number 6. I'm going Evan Ingram right here, and I obviously all you guys have articulated every single reason why he should be number 6. So I don't have to go too much into it, but overall the guy's a freak, and I feel like Trevor Lawrence is definitely got, in my opinion, an improve a year. Definitely needs to earn those stripes in this league because honestly, if he doesn't start winning games and trying to get them into playoffs, it's gonna look pretty ugly for him. But overall, I feel like he still has Evan Ingram as a good security blanket, and he's definitely gonna help him out throughout the season.
Hey, it never looks ugly when you make $55 million a year.
Never, ever.
I think Trevor Lawrence is doing all right.
All right, on to the more fun. 7. Oh, God damn, he scratched me. Zach, start with 7, and then we'll go David, and then I'll go.
So similar to Ingram, this is a guy that's in a decent situation, who's a little bit older, but also is a physically dominant guy, and that's David Njoku. He had a big year last year in Cleveland. It's kind of been a slow increase for him in this league. He came into the league, everyone's thinking he's going to be the next hot thing, and it's taken him a few years to figure it out. But these last couple of years with Deshaun Watson, they seem to have a decent connection. He's looking his way. He got a bunch of touchdowns last season. And again, same with Evan Ingram, just the physicality of it. He's huge, but he's super quick on his feet as well for a big tight end. So that's where I slot him in here at number 7.
Dave?
So number 7, I actually agree with Zach here. I'm actually on board with Zach here. David Njoku. When he first came into the league, he had a big season even with Baker Mayfield. So I think overall he's just been really consistent for Cleveland. Provides a lot of what they want to do, especially even in the run game. I know he's not the greatest blocking tight end. He's definitely not up there with Kittle, but he can still block. He's definitely capable of it. And just throw it up, man. That guy's a freak. When you just throw the ball up, he can catch it in double coverage if needed. He's nice, man.
I will tell you this. I do not have David Njoku in my top 10.
Wow. How did you find 10 other tight ends?
That's a hard take.
I went on the fantasy app and I looked at them.
Wow.
So who you got?
At 7, I have Josh Allen's number 1 option, Dalton Kincaid.
Number 1 option.
If we're being completely honest, the only reason I have him this high is because talented coming out of college, and he's now Josh Allen's number 1 option. We saw what Stephon Diggs did as Josh Allen's number 1 option. If Josh Allen has the year that I am expecting him to have, I will gladly admit that I am an idiot because I don't expect them to do good. But people are high on Josh Allen, therefore you should be high on Dalton Kincaid. I will piggyback off of whatever Zach has to say about Kincaid, knowing damn well he has him here, right, Zach?
Yes, I have him at number 8. So yeah, in a Josh Allen offense, someone's going to be getting targets, and Josh Allen could pepper them around and spread it out between the young receivers that they have. But there's really no one proven there. Kincaid is not even proven yet, which is I was flip-flopping between 8 and 9 for him, and you'll see why when I tell you number 9. Because it's not like Kincaid had a huge year last year, but they drafted him in the first round. You don't draft a tight end in the first round unless you plan to use him and use him and use him, which we'll get to in the next one as well, the next one on the list. But
definitely get there.
But he will be most likely that number 1 target in that offense, and like you said, without Diggs, without Gabe Davis, he has the physicality, the athletics, the athleticism to handle a lot of targets and be the number 1 guy. And in that offense, if you're the number 1 guy, you're going to be putting up numbers. David,
who do you have at 8?
At 8 is Trey McBride, Arizona. Yeah. And honestly, I'm expecting a big year out of Kyler Murray. I think he's just gotten way too much shit. I'm an Oklahoma fan, so I always have a soft spot for him and Baker out there when they're going through their battles every single week. So I always want to root for them. But I still expect Kyler Murray to come back and still be able to throw the football at a high level. And I think that obviously he uses his feet a lot, but I think that Trey McBride definitely provides a lot of utilization. Like you can use him in many different ways, whether it's in the slot or just as regular tight end blocking wise. I feel like he has good upside to him, and I feel like he could definitely have a good season for Arizona this year.
This is where I'm getting myself in some trouble. I have Dalton Schultz at 8.
It's not arguable. It's arguable.
Not a bad one.
I have him there because I feel like with the tight end, this doesn't have to do with the running backs and the receivers, but I feel like with tight end, once you get out of the top 4 maybe or 5, it's all about potential and it's all about who's throwing you the ball. So here we've seen Dalton Schultz be like a top 5 tight end. Now it's like he went from Dak Prescott to CJ Stroud. Again, I've mentioned it thousands of times. People are so high on CJ Stroud. I have him on my top 5. Zach had him top 3. David probably has him top 100. I don't know. See, now, I'm second guessing myself now that I've heard your guys' lists. It's should I have put Njoku there and bumped Dalton? But
no, Schultz is a decent pick. He's in my honorable mentions.
I ain't a bitch.
For
Dalton
the
Schultz,
for the
I'm not eating.
for the record, in the last one, I did take with the receivers and everything. I did take out Mike Evans, so you could definitely do that if you want to, man.
No, because then I have to redo the whole thing. Damn it. And I'm standing on business. Dalton Schultz, big year. Come in. Let's do it.
Here we go, baby.
On to number 9. I'll start here. David was talking about the best tight end prospect to come out of the draft. Well, we just had one 2 years ago, and he's sucked ever since. But guess what? There's a new boy in town. He's a Christian. He's going to throw Kyle Pitts the ball, and it's finally going to happen for Kyle Pitts. This is the year. If you drafted him, if you've been high on him and you've looked like an idiot, you will no longer look like an idiot until you do. I have Kyle Pitts at 9. Tall, freak athlete, pure receiver, which is insane. So I'm going to put Kyle Pitts at number 9.
I'm with you. I like I was just talking about, having a tight end in the first round, not even just first round, top 5, no less. Like, first of all, the physique and the athleticism is there. The ability is there. And now you have the offense to make it work. So that there's a lot invested in him already. And so it's up to Kirk Cousins to feed him the ball, but everything is in place, like you said, for him to have a huge season. So I do have Kyle Pitts there at number 9 as well.
I think Kyle Pitts got such a bad rep because I think, first of all, the team that drafted him should not have drafted him. They did not need him. So then you draft him and you put him into a terrible situation. You have Matt Ryan on his last year out. Then you give him Desmond Ridder, Marcus Mariota. Like, I understand the talent, but what do you expect from the kid at that point?
They shouldn't have drafted him. And from the fantasy perspective, I haven't been high on him until this year. Like, this is the first year that I'm going in the draft thinking, okay, I want to get Kyle Pitts. And you're getting him at a discount because he sucked for 3 years.
So Zach and I have Kyle Pitts at 9. David, what do you got?
Well, we finally agree. I
Let's
think,
go.
this is the first, guy that we're actually all going to agree where the placement's just right. And yeah, Kyle Pitts, number 9, definitely. I think that, Kirk Cousins, it's going to be dicey just because, coming off an injury and everything. But overall, I still expect Kirk Cousins to give out the same production passing wise, if not maybe a little to a lesser degree, but I still feel like he can get Kyle Pitts the ball way better than any quarterback that Kyle Pitts has been with since he's been in the league.
And here's the crazy thing.
Here, go Zach.
Here's the crazy thing. Even if Kirk Cousins comes out and ruptures his other Achilles or whatever the hell, he still has a better quarterback throwing him the ball than the last 2 years.
Michael Penix, baby.
Exactly.
Yeah, Penix.
The thing about Kirk Cousins and why I'm high on him with Pitts is because Kirk Cousins is one of those quarterbacks that actually utilizes his tight end. Brock Purdy utilizes his tight end. Joe Burrow utilizes his tight end. Lamar utilizes his tight end. All these players, like when you have a tight end of that type of capability, you have to utilize him. Kirk Cousins did it with TJ Hawkinson. He's going to do it with Kyle Pitts. Now, as we come to an end, number 10. I'm going to let Zach go. I'm going to go last because I want David to kiss me after this.
So I don't know if any of you guys have this at number 10. I know David probably doesn't. But I'm going with Jake Ferguson of the Cowboys.
Okay.
He is not
he's
not the physical freak of the other guys that we've been talking about. But he is a solid receiver, and in that offense in Dallas after CeeDee Lamb, it's pretty much him or Cooks getting these passes. So it's a high volume offense. He's going to get plenty of looks, and he's big enough to be a red zone target. And I really like him going into next year.
I will tell you this: Jake Ferguson is my honorable mention.
Okay, some love.
David.
Jake Ferguson is also my honorable mention because the tight end at number 10 is going to take the league by storm this year. And we're talking about Brock Bowers, baby.
Well,
We're
now I want to
talking
change my
about
pick.
from Las Vegas. You guys don't know him yet, but you're gonna know him this season, no matter who's at quarterback. Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, no matter who it is, you are gonna remember the name Brock Bowers this season. He's gonna make an impact for this team. He's only had 2 catches in the first preseason game, and it was electric. I was punching my wall, just waiting for it to be the regular season already, because I can't wait to see this kid and the potential he has. One of the best tight end prospects that we have seen in a long time, and I can't wait for him to put it all out there on the field. Brock Bowers is at my number 10. Yes.
I agree with David here. I have Brock Bowers at 10, purely off of talent. Purely off of talent. I have absolutely zero faith in either of his quarterbacks. At some point, I feel like Jacoby Myers might end up just throwing the ball. Jacoby Myers might get him more involved than the other 2 quarterbacks. I don't know. But I'm putting Brock Bowers here. He is supposed to be one of the best tight ends in the last decade, or the best tight end in the last decade. But like I mentioned earlier, that was the same thing that was said about Kyle Pitts. And now Brock Bowers is going somewhere where the QB situation is
kind of funky,
horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
Brock Bowers rounds it up. David,
here we go. Let's go, man. Hey, I'm really I know people are gonna think like I'm trolling about this, and obviously me being a Raiders fan, it might add a little bit of bias. But just the way that I've seen him in training camp and practice, and then going up to his production, seeing him in the first preseason game, I can't wait to see the production possibly in the next 2 games. But overall, the way that our offense is set up, it looks like he's definitely going to get a lot of targets, and I can't wait for it.
Hey, I mean, all the power to you. I hate to break it to you, but the fucking Raiders suck kind of bad.
Here we go. And the Dolphins can't play in cold weather, so
well, no fucking shit, motherfucker. It's 110 degrees here.
You take that back.
Hey, he started. Okay.
You know how much of a culture shock it is to go from 105 to fucking -5?
Honestly, everyone has to do it at some point in time. So, you're just losing excuses by the minute.
Where's my gun?
Hey, right, football season's here. This is the only time that we ever are not united. So it is what it is. You guys know I'm going to be here for Raider season all year long, and I'm going to be talking about it all year long. So there you go.
Yes, sir. I'm just glad football's back, baby.
Buckle up.
I will tell you this. That list was a lot harder to make than I thought. The pod went a lot smoother than I thought, because I can't lie to you, I didn't know half of these guys last year. And now they're in my top 10 list. So I encourage all listeners to comment on the pod when we tweet it. Please direct all roast to David. My ego can't handle it. Zach, nobody be mean to Zach. He is a national treasure. We protect him at all costs.
Yes, we do. And I will take all of the roasts that you got. And best believe I'm definitely going to get roasted for TJ Hawkinson in the top 5 when he's not even going to be playing the first half of the season. But, hey, we're basing this off of talent and, all the tight ends that we got. And I feel like when healthy, that guy is definitely a top 5.
All right, so that's all we have for you today. Hopefully by the time you are listening to this podcast should be out on Thursday. As if we are speaking on a Thursday, our fantasy ranks will be posted on playbooksn.com and on Twitter at playbooksn. If you need them to draft, we highly recommend it. If you want to win championships, we highly recommend it. If you want to suck, then ignore it. But who wants to suck? Everybody wants to win money, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Zach, David, as always, it's a pleasure to have you.
Until next time, fellas. Until next time. We're going to get David on one of these fantasy podcasts. See what happens.
Definitely got to see my 0 IQ on the fantasy part. But, hey, it's going to be all right.
We should have David just come and sit in the little studio right here and just watch us work.
Just
And he's gonna be
watch
like, "Oh
you
my
guys.
god, I have to play this now."
All right, I'm signing up right now, yo. I'm signing up right now.
All right, guys.
Take it easy.
Yep.